Hey, thanks. I'm Aldrich, and I'm going to talk to you about how 90s band Cake has actually been singing about DevOps this whole time. So that's right, you can put 30 years of DevOps down instead of just 10 if you're keeping track at home. First thing, this talk has a playlist. So there's a link somewhere on your screen, crazy.com/cake. That's either going to bring you to an awesome, magically playing file that's going to create a great soundtrack for this. You won't have to do anything, or you might have to keep the window hidden and hit next on a playlist. I haven't built it yet. Welcome to pre-recorded talks. We don't know. It could be anything. But we can work with this. So this concept isn't totally new. You might have heard Nathan Harvey talk about how Rick Rubin was doing DevOps with Aerosmith and Run DMC in the 80s, and then Cake just sort of carries this forward into the next decade here. So we want to talk first. This is what inspired this whole thing. This quote, as I was talking about observability, it's quite frankly true. She doesn't care whether or not the data center is actually on fire, just as long as you're still delivering value. Think about that. It really doesn't matter to your customers what the technical details of your failing. They just want to make sure they're still getting what they paid for. When I go to Netflix, I don't care if the whole US East is down. I just want to play Umbrella Academy because I'm bored right now and I would like to watch that. And so this is true, right? We want to deliver our SLOs to make sure our customers are getting value, not just our technical stuff is working today, right? And blame is a four-letter word. Here's the namesake of the whole talk. This is it. I think we can all agree. Blameless postmortems are better than pointing fingers. You want to actually learn stuff instead of just figuring out who done it. Because when we have these complex issues, and what better an example than the long line of cars in LA traffic, there is no root cause. There's no single point of failure in this system. There's a lot going on. We're all trying to just get to where we're going at the end of the day. We need to kind of accept those gray areas and those kludge fixes and just get it working. At the end of the day, we need to just deliver the value. It's not me to blame. It's not you to blame. It's not all because of us. It's just, stuff goes wrong. Oh, it is all because of you and because of me. So maybe the lyrics don't work, or maybe they work better. If you go to this YouTube link, it's a whole other talk about how we can do blameless better by being aware of the blame feelings that we have. So watch it. It's going to be awesome. I'll put it in my talk resources. And so we can talk about how Satan is our motor, right? How many of you use Amazon Web Services, right? This would be a sea of raised hands in an audience, but instead you'll just have to nod knowingly that everyone else is also nodding. And we all use Amazon Web Services from Amazon. We recognize they're not a great company to give money to, right? They have some maybe anti-competitive practices and maybe have forced workers to work during a pandemic with little to no sick leave. Yeah, kind of a problem, but we use them anyway. And we don't want to wonder if it's a mistake. We don't have to worry if we're going to stay together. We just want to build the services we want to build. So think about vendor lock-in, right? That was real hot at the time. We just want to build it. Don't want to have to worry if it's going to work. This is why serverless has been so big. We don't want to care about the underlying details. I don't want to worry about how many systems I need to run it. I just want to write code, and when it gets called, it works. And if you need to do it more, maybe more resources show up. I don't want to think about it. Just want to make it. But all this costs money, right? The more and more we do, we've got all these services that cost money, data's got to flow in and out. At the end of the day, we really have to hope that our VC funds hold out to pay our Amazon bills, just to make sure we can keep our services up and running. And then it doesn't end there. We've got to go to reInvent, and we've got to go to the secret club meetings, we've got to get the t-shirts and pay for all the new stuff when it comes out and learn all the cool things. And if you're having a problem with your bill, talk to maybe the Duckbill group and tell Corey and Pete I sent you, and they can maybe kick something my way. It'd be great. But at the end of the day, here's the heart of it, right? They nailed it with stick shifts and safety belts. Bucket seats have all got to go, right? We don't want these manual processes. We don't want to toil just to do something that a computer could do magically for us without thinking about it. We don't want a prescriptive, safe service on how to do Agile correctly. We want to figure out, am I delivering value? And are we getting the right feedback? And are people getting the things that we promise? It doesn't have to be prescribed. Just need to make sure we're building those connections and those relationships like we're supposed to. Think about certifications, right? These are highly prescriptive, and we pass the test just like everybody else. We don't really understand why we did it in the first place. They're almost more sacrificial rites. You have to go through it because that's what you do. What's the point? Well, at the end of the day, welcome to the DevOps cult. Right? That's the whole idea. You can deploy your Jenkins pipelines, you can start building your Ansible scripts, and you too can be a DevOps, just like the rest of us, as long as you go through the proper motions. Remember, as soon as you're born, you start dying, so you might as well have a good time. I'm Aldrich. You can find me at the speaking link that shows up. You can find the details for this talk there, and you can find me at the other things that'll show up on the slide screen as well. And I'm in the chat channels, so See you around.